They want Mediterranean food, a tasting with a wine pairing. Bad idea with sea rats, and I'll point out.
They're not sommeliers, be they level 1 or level 5.
Excuse me, what's this red you're pairing with the stuffed grape leaves? Oh, a local red wine.
Right.
Great.
Right.
Well, who paired this?
Right.
One of the sea rats. I can get them, ask them, but they're probably cleaning your toilet right now.
Right.
Great.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome aboard another brand spanking new episode of another Below Deck podcast. My name is Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one Patrick Hickey.
Great to be here. Permission to come aboard, sir.
Granted, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to finish this season out. To get ahead of myself, I'll talk about my thoughts and knots. But
yeah, I've had it with this season. I've had it with Jeff.
I've
had it with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Found out Jeff is, like the primary, also a brain doctor.
Yeah.
He looks like someone who...
And that's a scientific term for it.
Right. He looks like a guy in Silicon Valley that designed an app that helps you find GILFs really easy.
Oh, grandmas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Or grandpas.
There you go.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. It turns out he's a brain surgeon. By the way...
Okay, yeah.
I have two people that I've worked for that are also surgeons, not brain surgeons. They're all like Jeff. They're kind of semi-antisocial children.
Yeah.
It's astounding.
I saw a lot of myself in Jeff tonight, and it horrified me. And that's why I hate him so much, because if I was stranded at the dock, I mean, the over-under would be 37 times of me talking about it. I'll give him a little credit, but still, I've had enough of Jeff.
I did. Jeff deserves to be frustrated. It's just what's it like? You got to deal with reality on reality's terms, and he doesn't seem to do that, and it makes him sound like a petulant child.
Well, that's because he's a failed app designer. But anyways, public service announcements. Next week, we're going to do this thing where we announce something that we haven't talked about off air, on air.
Okay.
Happy hour with the Patreon members next Tuesday. What do you want to do it at 6:00?
Is that what time zone?
Pacific Standard. Let's do 5:30 next Tuesday.
How about 5? Because then people...
You want to do it at 5?
Let's do it at 5.
Okay, we'll do it at 5:00 next Tuesday. $12 tier members only. We'll see you on Zoom. Pour a drink and get ready to rip it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I was thinking I'd want to give some juice. I got some juice on Jason Sudeikis. He's not a good person. Maybe I'll talk a little smack about him behind the paywall.
Well, we need no juice. I mean, we can... the fans know that every time we do these happy hours, there's some juice. You know, I mean, the last one was so juicy.
That's right.
You know. Other public service announcements. I'm on a new show called Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters. Go find that on YouTube and subscribe. Also, get in the reviews. 5 stars, kind words. I know we're dwindling down on this season. Pat and I cannot wait to see Frasier and that weird Captain Carey for Below Deck Rag. But until then, let's keep up the vibes, okay? This is going to be fun. Natalia's back like a fucking gadfly. It'll be a lot of fun. That's it for me. Do you mind if I get high real quick?
Oh, go ahead, please.
Okay. Do you want to partake?
No, I'm okay. Thanks for asking, though.
Okay.
I'm a parent of 2 children, Dylan. Okay? The only disease I can have is alcoholism. Okay?
Yeah, and many weed-smoking parents listening are thinking, wow, that's crazy that he just said that. It's okay for him to slam 6 White Claws and go to bed, but it's not okay for him to hit a liquid diamond-infused banana OG joint, which is, I got to say, Patrick, euphoria.
Nice.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I will be talking about my thoughts and knots.
It tastes so good, you know?
Hey, you don't have to sell people on it, man.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, people are doing it.
A lot of people smoke pot.
Yeah. You know, I just saw a news story before I walked in here to pod. California is trying to ban cigarettes while simultaneously encouraging weed dispensaries. It's quite puzzling.
Yeah, I mean, let's not get into local politics. Cigarettes illegal. Heroin, just as long as you do it outside.
Totally fine. All right, here I'm going.
All right.
Hit it. All right. Here's my. Hit the joint.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my thoughts and knots. Whenever the boat doesn't leave the dock, it makes for great television. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's really uncomfortable. And then old Patty gets to think about, what would you do if you were foolish enough to be talked into doing a $60 a day vacation where you're essentially not going to get your money back and be forced to sleep on bunk beds on a floating hotel? What would Patty do? I'd be litigious. I'm not a litigious person, but I would most certainly be litigious, or at least
sue.
I would say, we're not doing this, and you're going to give us our money back.
Right.
Because I'd argue, what other business gets to engage in this type of behavior? If you had a family of 4 and you're flying down to Florida to go to the world's happiest place on earth, and you show up to Disney and it's raining that day, and they say the park's closed today. And also the bad news is you're not getting your money refunded for those tickets you bought. I'd say, fuck you. I will be calling my attorney.
Ron DeSantis, the lines are too long. It's a horrible place.
Well, so I don't understand that. I would, if I'm ever going to get talked into going on one of these vacations, I will have put in the contract, if we can't go out to the ocean, do the yachting thing, I'm not paying. So anyway, that's a fun part of the show. Yeah. All right, I started on a positive note. Here's the negative part. When you start an episode where, I guess the setup for this, what did we leave the cliffhanger of the last episode?
Last episode was... Hunt Daters was, we didn't know if she was going to come back or not.
Oh, that's right.
And Tomb Raider was down for the count.
That's a horrible cliffhanger.
Okay.
There's no emotional, I can't be pulled into that. That does have no emotional gravitas to
Where
it.
did you get this Dia de los Muertos cup?
I don't know.
It's a lovely cup.
Things just show up here because so many people do their shows here. Anyway, this is going down with a whimper. This is episode 15. Next week will be the not so epic conclusion. I just didn't. I like the episode. I just
can't be very high.
All right, I'm going to split the baby. 50 knots.
What do you mean split the baby? Like King Solomon? Like rip it now?
Split the. What is the expression? You okay?
Yeah. I think I might be coming down with something. How you been feeling?
I feel fine.
Yeah? I feel pretty good too. Listen, episode was fine. Echo all of your sentiments. It's so fun to see Jeff not really care about the eggs Florentine because he wants the slide, right? He wants to grease up his little tummy and he wants to go on the slide. The guests, it was fun to see them kind of listen. I don't know how these people exist, these kinds of people that let go of the negative in their life and play a who's the best dressed game with a bin full of 99-cent store Halloween props.
Quite innovative of Captain Sandy.
I mean, how you could pay this much money and have the evening saved with that, I don't understand it, but I got to say it's beautiful, it's admirable. Still can't understand what Max is saying. I don't know how long he's been on the show.
Even the subtitles don't help me.
No.
He's a mental patient. The subtitles are there. He's talking. I'm reading them, and I'm like, I still have no idea what he just said.
Oh, and they bait you into this thing where you start reading the subtitles to try to decipher the nonsense. No, don't even do it. Just close your ears, close your eyes, take a breath, take a moment of pause like Max's want to do, and just move on because there's really no point in trying to understand what he's talking about. Luca, sick puppy Luca, asking for nudes and whatnot. But overall, I thought it was a good episode.
How many knots?
7.
Dylan, do you mind if I normally you
getting high?
No, I'm not. Okay. Normally you do the honors of kicking off the episode with where we are. If you don't mind, may I? Because it started with a pet peeve. Sandy texts Haley, the infamous anteater hater.
Yeah.
And she says, "How you doing?"
This
through text. And she says, "Rough couple days. Can I call you?"
Yeah.
If this is Captain Patty, the answer is no. That's why we have texting.
Yep.
what's up? You coming back or not? We don't need to get on the phone call.
You know me. I'm a big caller. Mm-hmm. Well, I've done this to you 1,000 times.
Okay, hold on.
And I know I annoy everybody in my life with it, but it's here's the thing. I don't want to type out the whole thing, right? So it's laziness, but also, hey, let's take a beat and let's check in with one another. Let's hear some voices up in here,
is.
Right?
We are friends.
Right.
We are business partners. We are creative.
Up in here, let's check in.
We got to check in. Dylan,
Yeah.
I actually have a note here just to point out, I will accept phone calls with my business partner and friend Dylan, my mother, and my wife.
Right.
But I'm not going to accept phone calls from a friend that I've mentioned on the show quite a bit. His name is Sebastian, who used to drive me crazy with a text that would say, call me ASAP, all text.
Right.
And then I'd later learn that he needed to talk to me because he wanted to confirm what time I was picking him up.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts. And
it's like Michael Scott texting 911. Listen, speaking of great comedic television shows, tonight's episode was called Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes, horrible title.
Yeah. So I can't even begin to think about how phoned in that was. It doesn't really have any application to what's going on in the show. And worse, listen, the show is no longer sacred. It's no longer what it was. But Chet Hanks being a war reenactor in season 9 or not, let's not allude to Curb Your Enthusiasm really at all with this show. Now, we love Below Deck. I love Below Deck, but
that's how I make my money.
Let's not bring LD into this. Okay, it's a little sacrilegious. Fucking pisses me off. All right, so we wake with some chat about the evening before, and Luca being a pillow princess. And I know that pink ass isn't our favorite, but we got to give credit where credit's due. This was funny, and it was very accurate because, I think that there's an unsaid truth in light, and that is that most often really pretty people are not as good in bed as people who are not as pretty.
Well, I have a different take on this, and we are referring to Jess having to ride little Luca, do all the work.
Yep.
I personally am not a fan of that sexual position, and I've heard that women often find it easier to reach climax by being on top. They're kind of controlling their own destiny. Otherwise, you have a hairy, sweaty pig on top of you, pounding away.
Right.
And
right.
You're not getting off at all.
Yeah, no, I found that to be actually quite, that plays out in my life as well. I mean, there are certain occasions where you find a kind of cosmic flow and everybody gets there, but most often it is better if things are just taken out of your hand. But Luca doesn't need to eat ass or do any of that fun stuff. He's too
good looking.
Yeah, exactly. So, we, in a huge suspects type twist, Dieter is back aboard the vessel. She is 100% better.
101%.
101%. Hey, my bad. We have the final preference sheet of the season. Let's go ahead. Let's sing it. We have to get to something first, don't we?
Oh, no, I was going to play that horrible Trump thing. That I got out of it, by the way.
What do you mean? Oh, you got your money back?
They didn't charge me.
Oh, that's great news. That's really great to hear.
Because that's a horrible AI.
Yeah, Pat and I talked about customer service in 2024. What with most companies being part of some Sauron-like conglomerate, it doesn't bode well for people trying to talk to somebody to get their money back. But I'm glad that you got it back.
I did. Yeah. I was really upset. Anyway,
it's time for the preference sheet meeting. Not a lot going on here. They seem like pretty reasonable folk. They want on night 2, I think, for the chef to just do his thing, which is something that should be pretty much forced onto people on this boat, right? I know that lunch is usually the chef thing and stuff like that, but can people not just go, listen, you don't go to a restaurant, and I guess you can suggest cuisines and stuff, but it doesn't need to be this hyper specific. We want food to fit the white thing. Just let the fucking guy cook or the gal cook.
But what if he comes out there and it's going to be family style Italian night? And then you're like, I'm staring at, what am I at?
Am I a Bucca di Bepo?
Yeah.
Bucca di Bepo. Yeah. And they throw fucking peanut shells on the floor or whatever the fuck they do there. You feed this to people? They pay for this and you feed it to them?
Yeah.
Gross. That's insane.
Hey, Dale. All right, though,
Yeah.
you're pointing out night 2, but we do have to bring up night 1. They want Mediterranean food, a tasting with a wine pairing. Bad idea with sea rats, and I'll point out.
They're not sommeliers, be they level 1 or level 5.
Excuse me. What's this red you're pairing with the stuffed grape leaves? Oh, a local red wine. Right. Great.
Right.
Well, who paired this?
Right.
One of the sea rats. I can get them, ask them, but they're probably cleaning your toilet right now.
Right.
Great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sorry. Our wine kind of connoisseur is scrubbing shit off your toilet right now. So, but we can come up.
Also on day 2, foam party at the beach club. Yeah. Hello 2004.
Yeah,
do you want Lindsay Lohan there too?
Yeah. Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Bynes are DJing, and you are stomping around in a fucking cesspool of your own bodily fluids. Now, it's interesting. This is what happens to people who make great sacrifice. These two men have... listen, they're very, very successful, but they're dorks. You know, they've been in and out of medical school and hospitals. It's very, very rigorous work. You have to dedicate your entire life to it. And that means that a lot of culture flies by you. And that's how you end up at 52 going, I've heard of a foam party. We should do that. I think that's fun. You know, like that Trump voice.
Yeah. Although they so they want that phone party, and also Dylan, I think you're right, because culture had passed them by, pop culture, so they're just grabbing on to things. You know, their next request is a Hollywood glam party. Now, if you're going to infuse Hollywood and be accurate at that Hollywood glam party, you better you're going to need to book at least 2 homeless people with sharp objects.
Well, no, listen. Okay, so here's why this is too vague a theme, right? Because for the people who are pretty close to the issue, you could take a sarcastic approach and be like, oh, I'm dressing as a homeless person, you know? Or, you know, what kind of glam are we talking about? Are we talking about the Abbey? Are we talking about the Globes? Are we talking about the, you know, what kind of glam are we talking about? You know, there's a lot of glam in this city. It's very glammed up. So provisions arrive. Lobster, live rubber banded lobster, faces Max down. And me and Max are akin in this way. And I've talked about this before.
Sea bugs.
I'm not really, I don't know if we're aware of the karmic comet that is going to hit us because of the way that we treat shellfish. I mean, it's really, you know, when you look back on a civilization, you know, all the wars and the genocide, that's going to be top of the list. But as we whittle our way down, when people are really needing to go on lunch break, we're going to get to what we did to sea bugs. And it's just deranged. I mean, if you think about it,
really is.
It's just so fucked up.
Most civilizations, you really judge them based on how they treat their prisoners. But I think in 100 years, it's going to be how you treat your lobsters.
I mean, think about it. They're smart animals. I believe the Yorgos Lanthimos movie was based off of their lifelong commitment to one another. So they're capable of love and monogamy. And here come we aliens. We rubber band their claws. They're frozen. Can you imagine what that feels like, being tied up? Awful feeling. Claustrophobic. You have no agency, so you lull yourself into a calm, and then you're thrown into a bed of boiling water. I mean, it's just... Best case scenario is somebody takes a fucking chef's knife to your neck through the exoskeleton, and you feel that right before you go. But there is only heaven for the followers of Christ, and lobsters cannot follow
Can you
Christ.
imagine I fucking die? And then I wake up, you know, I'm in the pearly gates there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's with all the fucking lobsters up here? And should I be terrified?
Well, they're divine creatures. I love that idea of heaven. I hope they're up there, but I don't think I'm going. Listen, if you want delicious food like the food that they're having, you know, all charter, You can literally go to Green Chef and get the same exact
And it's
stuff.
way better.
I'm not even kidding. Green Chef is a CCOF certified meal kit company. They make eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. Okay. What have you guys been cooking lately?
We had the chicken. Was it tarragon? I believe that was the flavor with broccoli. So, Dill, get this. On Sunday, my daughter, Ellie, she's been obsessed with planes lately. So I figured, where can I get up close to a plane? The Reagan Museum has the Air Force One there.
Great.
We went there, but it was a horrible day. My wife and I fought about parking and weren't talking to each other.
Right.
Then we came home. That box from Green Chef was there.
Yeah.
And we cooked it together as a family. We fell in love again that night.
You know why I think you guys were fighting?
Why?
The satanic prism that's underneath that fucking museum. Bell politics. This is an ad read. What am I doing? Enjoy nutrient-dense, science-backed gut and brain health recipes developed in partnership with registered dietitians that improve digestion, reduce bloat, and also boost energy and immunity. Okay? At Green Chef, they believe that people should be able to enjoy eating and feeding their loved ones with a clean conscience. Mm-hmm. And you can do that because Green Chef is good for your taste buds, good for your body, and good for the planet. If you want Green Chef, and do they?
Oh, yes, they do.
You are going to need to do this. Go to greenchef.com/60 below deck and use code 60 below deck to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Go to greenchef.com/60 below deck and use code 60 below deck to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. Hey, Pat.
Yeah.
How's your stress lately?
Well, I had an event over the weekend. I went for a bike ride with my daughter, her on her first bicycle.
Yeah.
And we drove by a zombie. And I had some stress because I had to decide what I was going to do there.
Thank God you were microdosing.
I was. Calm me down.
This thing is reserved usually, out in the zeitgeist for stuff that really is quite psychoactive, okay? But if you don't feel up to going full bore into THC, why don't you just microdose? Microdose has tons of benefits. It helps with creative boost, enjoying the moment, pain, sex,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sex?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to get better at that, I mean, take the blinders off, take the blinkers off, and feel God pour through you with microdose.
It really is, Dylan. I'll say this. I don't like those heavy TH products. They freak me the hell out.
No.
I start getting anxious. I am here to tell you that microdose does not do that. It does completely different things to you. You will not freak out, right? Don't be scared of these. They come in these little packaged little jars, these little gummies you can bite off as much as you want.
As much as you want.
And it makes your life better.
Take one, go to the movies, and fall in love with cinema again. Microdose is available nationwide. To learn more about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com and use code BADTV to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description, but again, that's microdose.com and code BADTV. All right, so we are chugging along here.
Haley returns from hell, and Lara leaves to see a doctor, and I'm concerned this might be the last time we see her. But we got to get her out of here before she turns into a zombie.
It's odd to me, post-pandemic, the China virus. We did that fucking AI Trump.
And it got to you.
And we're getting to the caucuses are tonight, and it's just...
But the beauty is, Dylan, the wonderful thing about this show that I think people appreciate...
No politics.
No politics.
I can't tell you how many times my wife and I this week said, he hates Dieters. It was... we were doing it in front of people.
Anteaters.
They were like, what are you talking about? Oh, Dieters. But post-pandemic, you're a little bit more conscious of the floozies and stuff like that.
Sure.
I mean, Lara's just... I know Haley's got, natural immunity or something. What with her surviving the disease, but she's hugging Haley. She's going through, talking to Jack. It's like, get out of here.
Get out of here. You're going to get everybody sick.
You're going to turn everybody into a goddamn zombie. Then Jeff's going to really have a bad time. That's my kneecap. And you can't say anything back because you're gnawing.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So,
a couple other hits here. So
yes.
Toomey's done quite the 180 on Lily. Once the black sheep of the Sea Rat family, now viewed as amazing. That's well done there, Lily.
Yeah.
And Lily and Max catch up, and I think he forgot that he had sex with her.
Pat,
but I wouldn't know.
Pat, I haven't the faintest fucking idea
what they talked about.
No. And I don't think anybody should, because I think that's its purpose is to be completely fucking ignored.
I agree.
All right, so we have to get to the weather.
Choppy seas.
Believe it or not, we're going to be fucking docked the entire time. Not even a close chance. We're going to be leaving. But clap the hands, snap the fingers. Here comes Sandy. We've got to kill it.
We got to kill this because it's the last charter. Yeah, Sandy lets the Sea Rats know. By the way, this is a new one, the pre-charter meeting. I understand there's new information, but we rarely see that. That's a new thing.
That's a rarity.
Yeah, Sandy lets the Sea Rats know that despite the fact the guests are about to learn that they're paying $60,000 to sit on a dock for 3 days, they need to kill it.
Kill it. Yeah, We're going to need to kill it. Kyle recaps this entire season. Crew fighting, crew getting sick. We had that weapons dealer on as bosun. And I don't know how after all of that, I still don't think it's been that great of a season.
Honestly.
On paper, what he's saying, that you'd be like, that's a great season of Below Deck on Bravo.
Yeah.
But no.
You know what, Dylan? I have to say this. I feel like I've been recapping this season since the summer.
Uh-huh.
And it's a new year.
Yeah. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New
beginnings.
Yeah. Similar to the Christmas tree, my wife is a bit of a Nazi about the entire thing. She's like, it's 1-1. We got to throw it out. I'm like, can we hold on to the pagan beauty of this random dead tree in our... I mean, it's not even dead. It's sucking up the water, But no.
No, it's dead.
Is it dead?
It's dead.
Is that how it works?
You know what? I'm wrong. You can actually grow a new out of a little twig of a tree.
Yeah.
Grow a root out of that.
Right, but it's that twig isn't alive. It's almost like you're reanimating them. It's like Frankenstein shit, but actually quite beautiful. Anyways, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We cut that off too early. I think we should be able to say it in April. The guests arrive. They have very soft voices, and I don't like people with really soft voices. Walking around like, oh, that looks good. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I caught something else here. Sandy, as the guests arrive, she says, go enjoy your tour on the boat.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be spending a lot of time here.
Yeah. That did have a Jigsaw Killer vibe to it. The guests hear the news, and it does not go over well. Jeff is rightly pissed, but he's asking a lot of questions. He goes down to the kitchen, not to express any real interest in learning how to cook, but to be so out of people to complain to that you have to go and find the chef.
I love that take because I'm like, I don't think Jeff's down here to learn how to cook, but why is he here?
Thought I'd just maybe figure out how to cook because we're going to be on this boat for so long.
Now, in an effort to keep the guests busy, Dylan, our crack team of department heads, they really think out of the box. How do they do that?
Yeah.
They Google what to do in this town. Oh, visit a local aquarium.
It is so insane to me that, obviously they're sea rats, right? So it isn't that insane to me. But don't you have
a contingency plan?
Or a binder with contacts? Things that you can do just in case this happens because, 5-alarm fire. It fucking does all the time. It happens all the time.
We've
on this
recapped
show.
at least 4 or 5 episodes or charters where they've ended up on the dock.
On the dock. And that's for the whole time. A lot of the time they're stuck there for, a day. So yeah, maybe have a backup plan, but it was a crack team. I mean, it reminded me of Ethan Hunt and the gang getting on their phones and Googling, going to fucking TripAdvisor. Because what those people are paying for is essentially to not have to TripAdvise themselves.
Yes.
But just do it on it's just insane.
All right, so I have an idea, Dylan.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to life hack this. Here's my idea, and this is what Sandy should do.
I love a life hack.
She walks into all the guests.
Yeah.
She says, have you guys seen the movie Hostel?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We know you rich people secretly want to kill someone someday.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to allow this.
Yeah.
We're going to give each of you a butcher's knife.
Yeah.
But you're only going to be allowed to kill one. Okay? And we let them have at it. And they'll go nuts. Instantly, they're like, this is totally worth it.
Right. Okay.
Can you imagine the face on Jeff?
Jeff would, he'd mess himself. I don't want my criticism of this plan to take away from what I feel for it, which is nothing but true love. I think that this is a marvelous plan. They are bloodthirsty. They're not allowed to express that outwardly in polite society. So let's give them something. I mean, that really is killing it. That would be killing it. But I have to say, Pat, I think allowing one citizen per guest it can get a little messy.
Oh, no, just one sea rat. So I think they're going to try and track down and corner the slowest one.
Oh, you're saying that they can kill a sea rat?
Just one sea rat.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They can't kill each other. They're gonna that's gonna be a lot of questions.
No, but what I was thinking was go out into the cobblestone streets of whatever scam city you're in, and find a beggar. Don't kill out in the open, but what better lure than I have a yacht? Many people have fallen prey to that. Let's take the fucking filthy beggar back, right? And then slaughter him. But it has to be done on the boat. It has to be done somewhere in the galley where the floors are not expensive because sea rats spill and they fuck. So, God, I love that.
Still
plan,
workshopping it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think we're done. Parma ham bake and goat cheese salad are sent up for lunch along with baby branzino with fennel and lemon. The guests are mentioning that the weather looks fine, but that they're not going to challenge the expertise of the crew. I mean, there are so many wonderful little yummy passive aggressivisms from these people.
Oh, yeah. They
wouldn't want to, not an expert or anything, but the ocean looks pretty smooth here. I don't want to challenge the expertise of the crew.
I wish I could do that for you, Jeff, but if we went out there in the choppy water, you'd hate me.
Yeah. Do you think they're lying to you? Do you think they want to be on the boat?
It is a trait of doctors. I work for them. They are insane. They are so want to be in charge, and they will push really far to defy their own reality.
Uh-huh.
They're absolute assholes. All right, now let's talk about some other assholes. Toomey and Chef Jack, who I both love, are putting together that goddamn pairing. And Toomey asks Chef Jack, what's going to go with the chicken? And he answers, and I quote, white wine.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you just line a bunch of wine bottles up on the floor and throw rings on them like you do at a carnival?
Yeah.
Because that's the same process.
Don't cheat like carnies. We're trying to figure out what we're going to drink, okay? We don't need to be here for an hour. Mm-hmm. Sandy heads around and is cornered about the baseline energy, and she's starting to get a little pissed. At some point in here, Jack is texting
Natalia.
Yeah, he's texting
Natalia.
I don't want to put hope onto Jack.
You think he's got a shot?
I don't want to get into whether or not he has a shot or whether or not he doesn't have a shot. Natalia is from a darker plane than this, and we not know how those things operate. So I'm not going to... It's a battlefield I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think he's given it his best.
But I'm worried that that's what he's doing.
He is, and she's kind of... I'm not... Natalia, I know you listen. She's not using him per se, but she is kind of... He's her mole in that world.
I don't want to say it again, but I'll say it again, and we've referenced this before, but it feels more fitting given that Jack is the Samwise of this season. Shelob's spinning webs right now, and he might be falling into said webs. Okay. And I hope that he uses... what was the sword called again?
Gibraltar?
No. Sting. And slices himself free of those webs. I mean, don't be used. And don't be fooled by the rocks that she's got. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Poor guy.
I like everyone.
Me too. So the guests are a little pissed, but Luca and Sandy hatch a great plan. Let's take them on a tour of the port.
Shipping containers.
So that they can hear the screams of the people in said containers, and then they can go back to Aperol Spritzes.
Yeah. Okay. So Sandy starts Googling.
What language is that? Hearing people scream and sounds like it's from Malaysia or something.
Actually, the scream I heard while they were going through that harbor of shipping containers, I think they passed by Tom Hanks and that goddamn volleyball. And they're like, hey, I think that's Tom Hanks and Wilson. And they were actually, what they were doing is they were saying, get away from us.
Yeah.
We're having a better time
right.
drifting in the ocean than you fools.
But they went and they were like, Tom, we're having a Hollywood glam party tonight. You're part of you're kind of part of that, So Sandy is micromanaging. Kyle and Toomey are going to
Kyle went on the booze cruise because he's fun.
He's fun. And when they said that Lily was going to go on the boat, that's when Sandy
put the kibosh on that.
She was like, no, Toomey and Kyle, you're the fun ones. And that's actually a good intervention because, as we'll see in the next scene, Lily shouldn't be... She reminds me of an Anna Faris character,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's have the people who are a little less rainbowy go out with the pissed off crew, right?
Yeah.
Probably a better idea.
Yeah. You know what I would have done? I would have put the kibosh on this. I'm Sandy. I walk out to the guests. I go, hey, we're real sorry. And she hands Jeff a baseball bat with spikes in it.
Yeah.
I bet you're wondering what you could do with this.
Right.
And then instantly it turns around.
Right. Pat, listen, for the life of me, I don't know why they didn't pitch that. Soft pitch. Don't make it seem like it's their choice.
Look, we don't do this all the time.
Right. Because the game is, that they're picking that one. Once that feast has been laid in front of them, there is no other option. But the illusion is that, actually, apprehensively, we are going to pick slaughtering innocents.
Yeah. And there'll be one charter guest that seems like they're the one that's deeply opposed to it.
And they're just like, Stephanie, shut the fuck up.
But then they're the one that's like the most brutal murderer.
Are you kidding me, dude? Stephanie is so trapped in that marriage. Put a fucking Louisville Slugger with nails in her hand. I can't even imagine.
You know what? Oh, wow. We're finishing this movie out. All right, so she takes out probably Kyle.
Hold, please. We'll finish the episode soon.
Then she fucking goes in on Jeff. And that's how it ends.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, no, Jeff might be before Kyle. And she might get away with it because everybody's like, listen, you misunderstood what's happening here. But fucking thank God, right? Because we are just sick and tired of him. Oh. And he's not quite dead yet, so he has like a gurgling kind of like, hey, that hurts kind of response. So Lily and Max get their helmets on and start cartwheeling around the boat. She says that she's pretty confident that Max and her are not going to work off the boat, but her parents got married in 21 days of knowing each other, so you can't say never. That is an Amanda Siegfried in Mean Girls kind of moment. Like, we're getting married in 28. Anyways, I don't mean to harp on it. So they decide that they are going to drive to Portofino the next day.
And I don't think the guess that goes over well with them.
No, they're like, are we going to take the boat? And they're like, no. We're going to be driving. It's 30 minutes. The way that Luke is hugging Anne, Luca, excuse me. Luke is that rapist. Mm-hmm. No, Luca is hugging Anne in a very Shelob way himself. I mean, this is the most Shelob on this boat right now. What he is doing to poor little Anne is nothing short of animalistic. I mean, it's just really, I don't want to take Anne's agency away from her, but it is a little bit cat playing with mouse.
Well, I do appreciate, but to take that analogy, I will say the mouse knows that this is essentially a pump and dump, though.
The mouse knows that this cat is just trying to fuck it.
Right.
But when the wounds heal, I'm not bleeding as bad anymore. I feel like I could go to Cannes. That kind of thing starts creeping in. And then before you know it, it's done that death shake.
Fair enough.
They bite you in the neck and then they shake.
But at this point, I kind of slightly disagree with you. I think she knows what she's buying into, which is a superficial, just hook up, elongated trypticon.
I hope so. So Jeff talks to Sandy. He says things aren't going well.
No, he says this is stupid.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're 52. Don't say things like this anymore. I know you're frustrated, but you sound, like I said at the top of the episode, a petulant little asshole.
Somebody get this guy an X-Acto knife and a ball pit. When he's not killing, he'll have fun rummaging around in the balls.
Now, Sandy hears this, and she's got a plan. She will thwart the misery and disappointment and turn all of this around. Her idea? Game night.
Yeah.
Game night. Game night. Wow.
Yeah, I think that this is what the Manhattan Project looked like. People were just like working tirelessly to just figure out some of these complex issues. And eventually you do land on the answer. That's game night.
That's game night.
And Lily is going to be the master of ceremonies. She is so excited that she's exploding green pens.
Which we spent 3 minutes on.
I'm so happy that you just said that because I remembered. I didn't even write down how long it was, but it triggered did we spend 1 minute and 30 seconds of airtime on that?
And that's what you get at episode 15 of the series called Below Deck Mediterranean. You get a minute and a half of a marker exploding.
This is what Bravo needs to do. Let's have shortened seasons and let's start a new franchise called Below Deck Death Squad or something like that. And we, it might be a paywall show, but we get to see what we've been talking about this evening.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
I mean, people love Squid Games.
They do.
Why wouldn't they love Below Deck Death Squad?
Let's work.
Andy, we can't keep giving you these for free. Okay, at some point we have to be brought to the table. We have to have the Mountain Valley spring water in the green bottles. We don't want any plastic. And we got lots of stuff we can chew about.
Yeah. And I especially want them to ask, would you like it cooled or room temperature? Oh, definitely room temperature.
And I'm a cold guy. So that's a test, right? Are we paying attention to the, the little idiosyncrasies of our guests here?
I don't think they're listening to
Okay, so the guests at this point need to fucking leave. This is what I would do. Cut cost. You're going to save $5,000 each on the tip.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
You're not going to have to tip.
That's just $20,000. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Now, because they paid for, Dill, that's the right move. But you got to pay for a hotel in town.
That's fine. You can get a nice hotel for, even them, like a nice hotel in Split. If you want to go pricey, let's go $1,000 to $1,500 a night. That's a lot cheaper than what this is. It's a lot cheaper than the tip. and you can litigate a little bit of a refund after.
I like that.
Get out of here, Jeff.
Engage. Wow, great take, Dylan.
Yeah. So everyone is having a great time except for Jeff and his stupid shirt. He's arguing with Stephanie because Stephanie is a total bitch.
Oh, you think so?
No, I'm kidding.
He has to live with Jeff.
Jeff is that. He is an absolute nightmare. I feel so bad for Stephanie. And in fact, she is a warrior. I don't know how you would face down that kind of behavior every day. It's a fourth child.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It is.
Because she's got 3 boys. So dinner.
Yes.
First course, chilled cucumber and basil soup with truffle. Nothing to blow the doors off of stuck guests than a gazpacho to start off things, which is a dish that can never, ever get above a 7. Gazpacho.
Oh, the gazpacho. Do you remember on our trip, honey? That gazpacho. No one's ever said that.
Do you remember that cold, pulpy watermelon and mint gazpacho? In that big, big bowl. It was a lot of it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, like it was yesterday.
While Anne is talking about how she's excited and nervous to go to Cannes, Luca is asking for nudes from Natalia and laughing. He's laughing like a 5-year-old that shit his pants.
Yeah, he is. I believe it was her that prompted that by saying, show me something, and he sent a text of his feet.
Feet, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, they're dancing. They're dancing.
Now, Dill, let me, if you don't mind, handle this next part. The modern dancers arrive. Now, I don't know if we mentioned this earlier in the podcast recap. Toomey thought it was a great idea to really get this party started by having some modern dancers show up.
We've got Sam and Riette, and then we go into modern dancing. So,
forgive me, I interrupted.
No.
you.
It's just like if you wanted to keep not killing it, let's do Sam and Riette, and then have on these 2 modern dancers.
Modern dancers that haven't showered. Now, this prompts Toomey to reflect back on her history of dance performance, Dylan. And it's quite the history. At some point, right before her hip-hop recital, her mother told her that her dog was run over by a steamroller, And after that, Toomey never wanted to dance again,
And she was like, how come he didn't get out of the way? And she's like, well, I held him there. But listen, I want you to focus. I want you to have a good show.
Have a great show, kid. Get out there.
Yeah.
I love Toomey.
Yeah, Toomey's
she's really
great.
come around to me.
Yeah, no, Toomey's a sweetheart.
Now, I want to say this about
buried the lead though in this C-Rat history because she forgot to. I mean, you don't need to bring it up every time. That'd be a bummer, but it's odd going back to the dance history when we know what we know. Yeah.
The performance. I think Jeff wanted to operate on Toomey's head after subjecting him to this.
Yeah.
Because I think he hated it.
What would we do if you and I were sitting there?
I would.
I don't know what I would do.
I would hate this.
I would flip out.
It wasn't as bad as having a girl that you're dating whip out a acoustic guitar and serenade you where all you're thinking is, I can't wait for this to be over.
Or even worse, a guy you're dating. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So many women have to, because it's usually more of a guy thing.
It's a guy thing.
It's a guy thing. Let me show you G major. Mm-hmm. God, you got to just walk out of those rooms. Unless you're really in love with the person, you have to say, unless you want to have sex with them, but you got to get out of there.
Well, I didn't want to make it uncomfortable. Aside, she was in my apartment. But I'll tell you what I did do.
Yeah.
I had never called her again.
If you just took the guitar and slammed it on the ground, you're like, I loved I was just doing like a rock and roll thing. I loved that. I'm sorry the guitar is all smushed to pieces because I want to keep hearing it. So Haley is pissed about the dishes. Hey, teacher, why don't you chill out, okay? You're not really doing anything this charter. Just wash the dishes. I'm not saying that in like a Mad Men kind of thing. I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Take a seat, anteater hater. Natalia's on the show more than you.
Okay, so Sandy heads down and says that she misses Natalia because the laundry looks like it is
I'm getting triggered.
Disrepair. Jeff and Stephanie are going nuts again. I don't remember what. Oh, they were fighting at the table.
Well, they were also fighting before they went up for dinner.
Yeah, they were fighting in the room. Stephanie Go up there. I'm not going up without you. Fine. Good God.
Just get off the boat, Jeff.
But then
you're miserable. You're ruining it for everybody else.
Jeff, get off the boat. But then when the modern dancer, he's like, I looked at you the whole time. You were looking at that thin Italian boy.
Maybe I was, Jeff.
Yeah, it definitely was, Jeff. Look at your shirt. Okay, so the games begin. First is
kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me.
If we were on the show, there would be a moment where one of us would go, we're not doing this, right? We're not really going to do this, right?
Face painting in games? Oh, wow. Things you do at a 5-year-old's birthday party. Go fuck yourself. I'm out of here. And my lawyer will be contacting you soon.
And he doesn't have half of his face. Okay, so the first game is who's best dressed. The second game leads to a peek into the asshole of one of the
I
primaries.
enjoyed that. Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to say it like that?
Oh, sorry. I thought we saw Coochie.
I don't know why you have to say that like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, we did. She's on vacation, and she didn't know that part of that vacation, she thought that she could be comfortable at dinner, right? But no, what they had in store for her was some cartoon character with green paint all over her, asking her to bend down and pick up a cereal box with her mouth. And to be fair to her, who could have ever guessed that that was coming? So yeah, she showed her whole butthole and stuff. Jack is texting Natalia. She's hanging around. She's hanging around like a horsefly. You know the sound of a horsefly? It's thicker than that. Like you can tell how big they are. Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. You ever been bit by one?
No.
Ugh, it's so painful. Kyle is very triggered by Natalia. He's been bit by the memory of the horsefly. That is Natalia. And he is very, very triggered. He's wondering if now is the right time to let Sandy know how he feels.
Do it.
Is it on the board? No, it's not on the board. Number one answer is never, ever say how you feel about this specific situation.
Here's a question, and we'll end the episode on this. What is there going to be a reunion for this season? I do not think so.
Why? Of course there's going to be a reunion.
They've been pushing them off lately. I don't think we've gotten a reunion in the last 2 cycles.
Have they been doing that?
Yeah. Dan and no reunion. They just had Captain Hot Pants and Kermit on.
Dan and well, it was because that's sexual assault.
Well, that's true. And then we had Captain the sailing season. I don't think they did it for that either.
Dan and regardless of what comes, we will be covering it. The season finale is next week. Get in the comments. Comment. We'll see all the $12 tier members on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Is that what we said? 5 o'clock. So that will be Tuesday, the 23rd of January. We love you all very much. Patreon.com/anotherpodcastnetwork to be able to go to that and to support the show, support the sponsors, give the people your love in life a big hug, a big kiss, and just tell them how much they mean to you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Goodbye.